Hi there, and welcome to this session on how to homeschool when you only have little ones, when you don't have older children. Right now my oldest is 8 and under, so that's all that my homeschooling journey has been about. So if that's for you, or even if you just have a bunch of littles and some older ones, I hope to share with you the tips that I have learned. My name is Melinda. My husband and I and our children, we live in Costa Rica. Like I mentioned, my children are 8 and under, and we are a homeschooling family, a busy family. And if you're coming to me expecting answers from someone who has it all already, that might not be. But I have learned some things in my homeschooling journey that I'd like to share with you. I do struggle sometimes still. I get overwhelmed. You can also check out my other workshop that I did one of these days about overcoming anger. Or maybe it's coming yet. I'm not totally sure how the schedule is. But I want to share a little bit about how to homeschool when you only have littles, and hopefully give you some of the tips that have helped me. There are still days where I just figure I can't do it, it's too much, I'm overwhelmed. But there's days where I can see I've learned things in my journey that are really helping me, and I hope they might help you and encourage you wherever you are at in your homeschooling journey, especially if you're just starting out and just have littles. Now the first tip I have for you is to be flexible, and be very flexible, and you probably knew that already. But it's hard. Little children, having babies, having toddlers, and trying to homeschool, it can be really hard. To be flexible, you want this routine, you want this schedule, you want so and so much to get done. And little children don't know how to read the schedule and don't know how to follow it either. It sure helps to have a routine, but you have to be flexible. They'll be sick some days, there'll be any issue can come up, and it requires a lot of flexibility. Now, if you have babies, my youngest is 2 right now, so this tip, I'm a little bit past it, but I'll just mention it. Using baby carriers, which I did sometimes, using baby swings, which I did quite a bit more, and using baby's nap time, I also did sometimes when I didn't need a nap myself, to do some of the things that you need to do as a homeschooling mom. Use them if you have a baby. Use them to your biggest. Use them the best you can, so that your homeschooling journey can go more smoothly. Now, another tip that I think is really important, if you can, and yet maybe you'll find a way around it, is to get help. Get a mother's helper, get someone, a maid, someone who can clean. At the moment, I just have someone come in once a week to do my floor cleaning, and it has made a huge difference because it's one of the jobs that I least like doing. And it has been such a huge blessing to me to get my floors all well cleaned. Now, if that opportunity isn't available for you, pray to God for help too. There was times when I didn't really have help and couldn't really find help. But right now, yes, like I mentioned, this is such a huge blessing. And maybe you could find some way. Someone could help you. Now, maybe you like the cleaning but you hate baking or whatever. Find someone to help a little bit, and just that break once a week to get my floors all clean does so much to help me all week. Maybe you can too. And there's no shame in asking for help, because homeschooling moms are teachers and moms and everything else, so there's no shame in asking for help. Another very important thing to teach your children, and which I started with my oldest when she was quitting her naps, is to have quiet time or alone time. That is one of the biggest lifesavers for a homeschooling mom of littles. We don't always do it anymore. Right now, I'm at a little bit of an easier stage of life without a little baby. But I still try to keep it up, that all my children know how to have quiet time. That after we're done with the lunch, usually is when it happens for us, and it could happen any time of the day, each of them has to go to their own room. We don't have that many bedrooms, so one might have to be in the living room, or sometimes one on the top bunk and one on the bottom bunk. And they have to try to be quiet, play there, entertain themselves for half an hour or whatever. Now this requires training. They don't automatically know how to do it, but if you do the training, it's just so nice to have some restful time if I need to sleep, if I need to do some other project without them. And it helps so much to manage the homeschooling the little years. So that's one of my biggest tips for you. Now, directly related to homeschooling is remember what all is learning, because when you have babies, when you have toddlers, you often can't do as much bookwork as you'd like if you don't have any older children to help with any. So much of the work falls on mom, laundry and dishes and so on. But remember, what all counts is learning. I like to make sure that I have the basics down, the language arts or the learning to read, and math. And learning about God's Word, Bible or whatever, even if we don't have a formal Bible curriculum always. Those are the things that are really important for me. And the rest, science, social studies, all those, if we can, we do them, but they also can be saved for the older grades. And another thing, read lots to your children. If you read, they will get in science and social studies. They will get in history. They will learn so much. And it might be enough, or it is enough often. So try to read to them. You can read when nursing the baby and so on. And they'll be learning. Do the basics and leave the rest if you can't do it with no worries. I mean, you might have laws and requirements according to your wherever you live for homeschooling. So check into that for sure. I don't want to override any legal issues. Right now here, we don't have any requirements like that. So I feel like my children, I see them learning. Go on walks, that's learning. When they observe the world around them, they learn a lot. That is learning. Another very important thing to teach your children in this time when you have just littles and all their lives, but is obedience. Because if you get that down, it makes everything so much easier. So I would encourage you to make that a priority, to teach them to obey quickly and happily too. Though I don't believe in being a very harsh, hard mom, but you do need that in order to be able to manage these years. Because if there's disobedience all the time, you can't manage. So we need to manage the little years and teach them life skills and chores. Now, chores will help you a lot, so you'll be able to homeschool better if they're doing some of the chores. Even by now, for me, just that my older girls can help with dishes gives me so much more time, where before, when I had to do all the dishes myself and all the cleaning up myself, when I had just very little ones, it is really helpful. So yes, teach your children chores and life skills. Different life skills is something important they need to learn for life, and once they know how to do it, they know it for life, and it'll help you out. And it's learning too. It counts as learning, because what they really need is, they don't need to know all the history dates and so on. I mean, that they can learn later as they need it, but they need to know how to live in this life. So that's my encouragement for you. If you have little ones that are preschool age, under like first and second graders usually have their more formal work, at least in my case. But preschoolers, do a little bit of school with them. And also, as a homeschooling tip, have some special toys or things that are just for homeschool time. If you do a little bit of school with the younger ones, they'll usually be happier. I don't make my 4-year-old sit down and do school. But if she does a bit of pages, a bit of flashcards with me, she's usually happier to let me help her older siblings. And the same, you might find that really helps for you. And having certain toys or games or things that just work for homeschooling time, they don't get bored of it, and then it helps so that you can have more time with the older homeschooling ones, if they are entertained with those kinds of things. Probably many of you who are watching this are getting ready to plan your new year or start your new year. So I want to tell you some tips that have really helped me this past year. For a point of interest, Costa Rica's school year is February to November about. So we're on a different time schedule than a lot of you. But I have a first and second grader and 2 younger ones. So what I did, I'll tell you how I did it so that you can maybe know for yourself. Remember, in these younger grades, if they don't get everything done, it isn't as important as older grades. Though I think personally, I try to get their main subjects done in the school year. For their grade level, if there's no learning disabilities or anything like that. So what I went and decided how much, in order to finish in the school year, which I'm not sure what I calculated it, if at 40 weeks or 36 or 38, and decided how much they had to do per week. Like math, do 4 lessons or 5 lessons per week, and their language arts and everything else that I wanted to do, the science, everything, I divided it up into the number of weeks. And so I figured out, and then how many times per day and which days we do what. But I do not at the beginning of the week, well, I do have a homeschool planner, my own homeschool planner I made, that I do write down every day what I want to do in pencil, so it can be erased and changed. And then what I do is, if it gets done, I write it in pen or just check mark it. If not, erase it and move it on. Now it's kind of a form of reverse planning. In the end, looking back, all I have written on the past days, past weeks, is just what we've done. So it doesn't look like a bunch of unfinished stuff. It looks like, oh, every day, school day, we did something. And that makes it very encouraging. You can see the progress instead of what you didn't get done. So I think I was seeing that one of the other session speakers one of these days was having a whole session on reverse planning. You might want to check it out. I don't know what all she'll teach. It might be different than how I do. But in general, if you write down afterwards what you've done instead of beforehand, you can look back and see that, oh, you made progress. You maybe didn't do as much as you wanted to, but you made progress. And that, I think, is one of the best tips for these younger years for homeschooling. So I hope that could be of encouragement to you. I want to finish off with a few words, just encouraging words for you. And one is that this is a season and it will pass. You know how seasons in life are? This season will pass. It may seem like a long, dark winter. Homeschooling with littles is sometimes really intense and really hard, but it will come to an end. They'll grow up. If you have more children, well, there'll be some big and some little, and that does make a difference than if everything depends on mom. So be encouraged. This is a season. It will pass. It might feel forever, but it will get past. I'm already feeling it easier than a year or two ago, when I couldn't have imagined it getting easier, and it's still tough. And another piece of encouragement for you would be to give yourself a lot of grace in this time. You are a busy mom. Maybe you have babies. Maybe you're up at night. Maybe your toddlers don't sleep well. Toddler stage can be challenging. Any stage of motherhood is challenging. Give yourself grace and remember what is the most important. And you don't have to do everything you wish you could do. There'll be later on in life, there'll be time. So don't beat yourself up too hard. Don't be too hard on yourself. You are doing a wonderful job, doing the best you can. And last of all, enjoy the season. Oh, that's hard when there's so much to do sometimes. But enjoy your little ones. They'll never be little again. Look at them, smile at them, see the fun things that they do, and just the preciousness and the privilege you have of being a mom and being a homeschool mom. I know homeschooling isn't for everyone, but if you're watching this video, I am just assuming you have the calling to homeschool. And God will give you the grace. It will be incredibly hard, but you can do it. If you have any other questions, put them down below and I'll try to get back to you. If you have any other comments, maybe you have tips for other moms homeschooling littles, let us know and go with the grace of God. Also, if you want more encouragement, you're welcome to subscribe to my channel here, Connecting with Littles, or check out my blog and subscribe there. I'm just another young mom sharing the encouragement I have for you with a little bit I've learned, but I still have a ways to go, and I know I can learn from others too. Have a wonderful homeschooling year, and I hope to see you another time. Bye.
So that's how it comes out.
Yeah. So it climbs on, just don't touch its wings.
But how can Daddy get him out?
I have to wait and see.